of some MPP supporters who are taking over some government institutions and key installations, and this is becoming a grave concern across the country. Like I mentioned earlier on, we'll be speaking with our correspondents. We've heard what's happening in the Shanti region. We'll get to some other regions to bring you some more on the updates. But this afternoon, still on this topic, I do have in the studio Nanaya Akwada. He is the Executive Director of the Bureau of Public Safety. Good afternoon, Nanaya.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Now, this is like history repeating itself. What do you make of what is happening, and are you surprised at all?
History, yes. Let me also say good afternoon to your viewers. History, yes. I am not surprised because we were all here in 2001 through 2008 until now. So these are familiar spectacles. What we have realized rather is that they have graduated it from seizures of, if you like, not so significant facilities to very, very significant facilities, some of them security installations. I mean, if you are talking about the passport office, it's not a place that we as a country want to joke with. And if such a place comes under siege by party followers, it's a source of concern. But I think that by and large, whilst they are graduating it upstairs, the frequency or the scale has reduced.
Now, so building up on what you said, can this be classified as a threat to public peace and security from your point of view?
Well, as a matter of fact, I think the greater part is it a threat to our democracy? And yes, and if our democracy comes under threat, then nothing else matters. So it's important that moving forward as a people, we ought to get the organs of public safety to, take steps to prevent some of these things happening. And it should not only be in the bosom of the public safety organs to, instill discipline or instill, public order. The political parties must also take some responsibility to educate their followers that, hey, we've run for an election that was very, very competitive. We have won handsomely. So there is no need for anyone to do things that will, cast a dark shadow on our win. So it's important that we all act in, we are all very civil in this transition process.
Now, Nanaya, you heard my colleague and the interaction he had with the gentleman. What do you make of this?
Well, I think it's quite a dicey issue. The most important thing is that people must be made to understand that when there are transitions of such nature, they have no business, moving to such facilities ostensibly to protect or to take up jobs.
Which is not their responsibility.
There is a system, absolutely, there is a system that is running. We have a transition bill, and we work it from top to bottom. So they must allow things to work. And moving forward, I think that we need political authority to take some stringent actions and very bold steps moving forward so that we can avoid some of these things. It does not make sense that after all of us have gone through such a civilized process to change government, we have these things coming in to, as it were, tarnish the process that we have done. In the first place, we think that moving forward from beyond 2017, we need to make a decision. Either we engage these political vigilante groups or we ban them outright.
No, but the police, even during election, did mention categorically that these groups are banned. And mentioning about, touching on moving forward, do you think that we can ever deal with this problem?
We should be able to deal with them. For us, we think that the fact that the incidents of takeovers, if you recall 2001 and 2008, and if you compare them to what we have seen in 2017, the frequency and the incidence is down. It's just that the reportage and probably the facilities they are approaching now are much more sensitive, you know. But the incidence, the number of times that these things are occurring, are significantly down. So it is possible that we can bring these things under control. The issue of banning or engaging vigilante groups, I don't think that is something that can be enforced by a press statement or a press conference. It is something that we must actively engage political parties in order to render them redundant. In the absence of that, if we resort to just brute force and making press statements,
so
we will be scratching the surface.
From your point of view, what do you think would deter these persons from going ahead to engage in these kind of activities? What exactly should be done?
Well,
engaging them, I'm sure political parties, past governments have tried ways and means to engage them, or probably overlook some of these things. That's how come it's escalated and we're still seeing some of these things. But how do we deal with this canker once and for all as a country?
Well, like I indicated, it's a process. We cannot, prescribe for it a one pill that will cure this ailment. It's a process, and it's probably something that we need to look at from different angles. When we talk about engaging these vigilante groups, it also means finding proper means or ways for them to dissipate those energies. It could be jobs, it could be enrolling them into the proper security of these various political parties. Because as it is now, anybody at all hops on board and he's a member of whatever group. Any member at all, once you've got the force or if you like, the courage to do things that are not supposed to be done, like we just heard someone slapping a police officer, then you can just hop on and be a member.
Quickly before I let you go on, do you think the police has been prepared for this kind of act?
Well, I do not think, I would not want to talk about whether the police has been prepared for this, but I think that in the instances that the police have moved in, they have effectively contained the situation without, further exacerbating the issue, and I think that is a plus for the police.
So you're satisfied with what they've done so far?
Absolutely, absolutely. We are satisfied with what they have done, not what they have not done, because we know that we have a certain culture in this country where the police are not really emboldened to act. But on my way here, I spoke to a chief superintendent, and he was telling me that, Nana, you don't want me to risk my job, because if I move in there in the manner that you are requiring me to do, the next moment you are going to see me somewhere in some village somewhere. So they move cautiously, and they move in some of these things sometimes on the basis of public outcry, not necessarily on the basis of their mandate.
Okay, thank you very much, Nana Akwada. He is Executive Director of the Bureau of Public Safety, and we're looking at some happenings recently after